Hey, my name's Izzy. This is Rolling Virtual Cards coming at you with another top 20 commander list. This time, finally, last one for the CMCs, the mana cost. This is 11 plus. We did 11 plus because there's just not enough cards that are like 12, 13, 14. And then on top of that, we really just don't have a lot of 11s that are worth talking about. So we're just going to hit the peak echelon of like, what is the highest CMC you're going to see around. Let's start off with it. Into the Infinite, classic card. Love this card. Build a deck around this. You'll enjoy it. 8 generic mana, 4 blue for a sorcery. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your library. Then, put a card from your hand on top of your library. You have no maximum hand size until your next turn. This is a classic card. If you cast Enter the Infinite and then just cast Thassa's Oracle, you win the game. So, that's great. That's like a nice 14 mana combo. 2-card combo. Really funny to do that. Back in the day, before we had Oracle, though, you'd have to cast it and then try to get, like, you had to try to get either Jace's Prodigy or even before that, the library one, I forget his name. And your goal would be to get it out and then just draw 2 cards and win the game. So, very fun card. Does it do anything other than that? No, not real. This is like a, I'm going to win. It's a really fun card if you have an Omnipotence from the previous list. Just casting the previous card and going, boom, here's Into the Infinite. So, I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I like Into the Infinite. I think it's a fun time, honestly. Next up, Shadow of Immortality. 13 generic. Black for a 7/7 creature avatar. If your life total is less than your starting life total, this spell costs X less to cast, or X is the difference. Let's talk about this, okay? Shadow of Mortality is this interesting concept. It's really like, you're really trying to just lose life to get this card out. So, generically, in Commander, this will just cost 2 black eventually. I mean, you lost 13 life, so instead of, because starting less than your starting life total, so you're at 40, you're down to 20, it costs 2 black, later on 2 for a 7/7 is not bad. That's not why it's ran. It's ran because there's a few commanders out there and a few other deck designs where like their power is equal to the highest CMC in your graveyard or on the field, or you can like throw it and deal damage. And like, if you can sacrifice Shadow of Mortality and just deal 15 damage to each opponent, that's not bad. That's not bad. That could take someone out. So, I like Shadow of Mortality. Is a pretty good card. I like it. I think it's interesting. I think it does its job, right? It's this really nice niche little number 19 card, right? It's not draw my deck, win the game, but it does its job. And I mean, like, late game being 2 for a 7/7 isn't bad. Like, low bar, this isn't. So, number 17 is Mycosynth Golem. This is another one that's just cheating at 11. So it's 11 generic mana for a 4/5 Golem, but it's affinity for artifact. So it costs 1 less for each artifact you control. And artifact creature spells you play have affinity for artifacts. So, you get Mycosynth Golem out, and then you can just go like, artifact creatures, yeah. So, again, the nice thing about Mycosynth Golem is that really enjoyable feel of, hey, check this out, I've got a great deck. Like, well, no, so what I'm saying is the popularity of this card comes strictly from artifact creature decks. There's a handful of artifact creature commanders that like strictly want to work on that. And Mycosynth Golem not only is just an artifact creature so it works in the deck, it also just all of a sudden turns all your artifact creatures into much easier to cast cards. And you can just kind of steamroll. And if you have green and you've got those non-artifact creatures that draw you cards whenever you cast a creature, or the blue cards that draw you cards whenever you cast an artifact, you can just start steamrolling and drawing a bunch of stuff. I like this in like, actually weirdly enough, a Tamir, a blue, green, red deck. If we could get a commander, an Arctic commander that likes that, that would be absolutely fantastic, you know, like no diff. What would be cool about it, what would really make it interesting with that is those concepts of like the fun part, if we could get a good Tamir affinity or like artifact deck, is that green has like draw cards when you cast creatures, or artifact creature deck when you draw creatures. Blue's got those draw cards when you deal damage and draw cards when you cast artifacts, and red's got those like burn people when you play artifacts or creatures, and you can just start trailing through your deck. I think that'd be fun. So that's number 17 or number 18. Let's go number 17. Darksteel Colossus, classic card. 11 generic for an 11/11 golem with trample, indestructible. And if it would be put in your graveyard from anywhere, reveal Darksteel Colossus, shuffle into your opponent's library instead. So this card is again that concept of, it's kind of like some of the Titans, where your goal is to just put in your deck so you can't be milled out, because whenever someone tries to mill you out, the Darksteel Colossus will just get shuffled back in. It's why if you're running a mill deck, you really need to also find a way to draw them out or win some other way. But is it good by itself? And yeah, you can't recur this, but if you're running a deck designed to be able to get big guys out, I like him. It's classic, it's interesting, and what I really like about it is that he's just a cool guy. I like him because he's a cool guy, and he's not broken. He's just this big 11/11 for 11. He's not giving no impact. He's just, okay, yeah, you can't recur me, but guess what? I hit the field. This is going to be a lot to deal with. Just give up already, okay? Let me just have my fun guy. And I enjoy that. I like my little fun guy. Let's have fun with my number 17. Again, I don't think he's great anywhere, but if you can reduce that cost or cheat him out from your hand, you're going to have fun with him. That's where you're probably going to see him most. So, number 16, Scion of Draco, another cheating card. 12 generic for a 4/4 artifact creature dragon with domain. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each basic land among lands you control. So in domain decks, like 5-color domain decks, Scion of Draco is fun. If you have all 5 basic land types, that makes this card cost 2. It has flying, and then each creature you control has vigilance if it's white, hexproof if it's blue, lifelink if it's black, first strike if it's red, and trample if it's green. So if your commander is Wooburg, it gives it vigilance, hexproof, lifelink, first strike, trample. Nice. You're just gonna hit them hard. Yep. So it's great in any 5-color deck where you're running, where you know you're gonna hit those like basic lands. I like it. I think it's great and fun in those decks. It's an easy, just toss it in there. That's gonna make my commander stronger. So that's why it's 15. I think so. I'm so bad at numbers. Let's see. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Okay, 16. Let's go to 15. Okay. Let's zoom this guy up just a little so you can see it better. So this is Funeral Room. This is 2 and a black for Funeral Room, which is 2 and a black, or Awakening Hall, which is 6 and 2 black. So Funeral Room does the following. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you give him life. Stop there. That's an effect people use. Aristocrat decks love this. Mass token decks love this because people can't board wipe without dying. What does Awakening Hall do, though? Okay, 1 second. Got to pay my cat tax. Here's my cat tax. When you unlock this door, return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. So, big picture. Big picture. This card is doing something simple. You can pay 3 to get this out. Okay, now if anyone tries to do anything to you, they're going to slowly take damage. And then later on in the game, you can just pay 8 and go, here's all my creatures back. My 20 creatures. And they're like, oh, we got to wipe the field. Oh, crap. We got to remove Funeral Room first. Otherwise, we die. For board wiping. Great. Cool. Thanks, guys. And enchantments are hard to remove. So this card, it's new. It's going to see more play. Just that 3 is great. That 6 or that 8 later is fantastic. So Absolutely wonderful card at number 15. Let's move on to number 14. Emrakul, the World Anew. Another Titan. Who would have seen it coming? 12 generic for a 12/12 Eldrazi. When you cast a spell, gain control of all creatures target player controls. Flying. Protection from spells and from permanents that were cast this turn. When Emrakul, the World Anew, leaves the battlefield, sacrifice all creatures you control. Madness pays 6 colorless. So, let's be real. As a commander, this card's not fun to play against. You play it quickly, you're ramping out, boom, 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 boom. Here's it out. Let's steal all your creatures. But that's bad. And the reason why is because it's relying on one of your 3 opponents being a creature deck. And if someone sees you're playing Emrakul, they're just going to be like, I'm not going to play my creature deck. You're going to be like, okay, I guess I'll just play a different deck. So that doesn't work. So you needed to be in your your 99. So now it's in your 99. You draw into it. If you got ways to discard, this is better. Especially if like you got ways to discard and you're playing like a heavy colorless deck, or like, I think if they were playing like 2 or less colors and you're running a lot of colorless ramp due to that, this works. Discard it, pay 6, drop it out, go steal all your creatures. Whoever has a lot of creatures. And then you're just like, boom, I've got flying, so I'm going to hit someone for 12. Protections from spells and permanents that were cast this turn mean you can't just cast it into a sorcery to remove it. To remove this, you have to either board wipe, because protection doesn't protect from board wipes, or you need some type of like activated ability removal on a card that's been there for longer than 1 rotation. So it leaving the field is scary, because that's going to make you sacrifice all creatures you control, which is terrible. That's not fun. It's a great downside. But you're going to mitigate it. Like, the chances of that happening are so slim. And here's the really cool serialized card that goes for $2,000. So, yeah. I think the art's great. So, super cool card. I don't like it. Stealing cards is just not something I like to do. Mind you, I like stealing cards in Magic the Gathering. I think it's a fun process of, like, those cards are mine now. Let me use them. But that's like 3, 4 tier level. 5 tier level, right? We're not doing that in 1 and 2, okay? And when I talk about decks and cards, I really need to specify where they play more often nowadays, and Emrakul is definitely a 3 or higher. This is a card that, sure, no, it's not a whatever those call a game changer, right? It costs 12 or 6, and it's got limitations. But the thing is stealing cards from people just isn't. It's a bad feel. And when you're playing against people at your local card shop, your tier 1 and 2 decks, those, especially those 2, where a lot of people want to sit. They want to sit in that 2. They're like, oh no, I'm just not going to play game changers. Right? Those tier 2 decks, they don't like cards like this. They're like, no, I don't like theft. Theft isn't fun. Please don't steal stuff. I don't like mill. I do not play a mill deck there. I play mill as 3 or 4. I can make a mill deck that's 4. I can make a mill deck that's 3. I am actively trying to find a way to make a non-self mill deck, like a mill your opponent's deck out in CEDH. One day I'll get a commander to do it with, okay? We'll get there. And no, Brain Freeze is not my choice because it's boring. So, but that was number 15. No, 14. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Yeah, 14. Okay. Let's go to number 13. There we go. Temporal Trespass, classic card. 8 generic, 3 green, 3 blue for a sorcery delve. Each card exile from your graveyard will casting spell cost 1 less. 1 generic less. Take an extra turn after this one. Exile Temporal Trespass. Simple, sleek, understandable. All you're doing is getting, I'm going to take an extra turn. Yes, you don't get it a second time, but you can cast this for 3 blue later on, and that's simple. It's a great extra turn spell. I love extra turn decks. Extra turns suck if you don't know what you're doing with your deck. But if you do, it's fine. If you just go Temporal Trespass, swing at everyone, draw 6 cards, extra turn spell, untap, upkeep, go, 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 and you know what you're doing, extra turns don't take long. They're fine. I'm not upset. Extra turns suck when you go, okay, exile the 8 cards in my graveyard, pay 3, take an extra turn. Let me see. This turn I'm gonna... 2 minutes later, okay, there's nothing I can do this turn. Let's go to my next turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a land. Let's do... I think I want to attack. No, not yet. Let me see what else. Yeah, that's what sucks. The rate in which a player plays is what ruins games for me. Just know your deck. And if it's new, we'll give you some leniency, okay? But if it's... the leniency comes from your skill level, okay? If it's new... If you're a new player, I'll give you all the time in the world to learn your deck. No worries, I'm fine. Let me know you're brand new, we'll slow down, okay? If you're... Like, I'll explain my cards if you're new. Okay? If you're playing a new deck, and you're a newer player, let's slow down. You gotta learn your deck, take your time, okay? Work it out in your head. If you're an experienced player, and you're playing a new deck, or a moderately experienced player, like you've played a while, you finally made a new deck, I might give you a little leeway. Maybe a little. Like, yeah, okay, you gotta double check your cards. What I don't like is you have had your hand for my turn, that guy's turn, and that girl's turn, and now it's your turn. And you were talking to Joe over there about trades. You're playing a new deck. I get it. We're at an LGS. You want to make trades. That's fine. Make the trades. Trade away. Cool. But don't trade in the middle of a game while you're playing a new deck that you don't know. So then it gets to your turn, and your turn is 10 minutes because you need to read the 3 cards you haven't played before. Don't do that. Don't be rude. That's just not okay. Okay? You need to be more conscious about what you're doing. If you want to do trades, play a deck you know. So when it's your turn, you can look at your hand, do what you need to do, and pass. That's fine. Do that then. Okay? It's frustrating. And this leads to stacks a lot of times. The issue with stacks isn't that, oh, I can't play cards. That's not ruins the game. What ruins the game is the people who go, Can I do anything? I drew a card. 5 minutes later, looks like I can't do anything. I pass. When what it should be is draw a card, play a land. The stuff I wanted to do costs 6, but you made it cost 7. Can't do anything. Pass. It should be that simple, guys. Like, look at the field, pay attention to the game, and the game will go fast. It doesn't... It can be a fast-paced game without everyone having to yell at people to go faster. But just know your deck, please. Like, if you just put a deck together, that's terrible. Like, play it. Do some test games. Okay? See how the deck flows. I don't know. That's my rant about extra turn spells and the speed of the game. They're fine as long as you know what you're doing with your deck. If you don't, I'm going to groan. And honestly, I'll probably just scoop and say, let's go to the next game, please, everyone. And I'll look at him. Learn your deck before you start playing extra turn spells, okay? Now, again, if you ask me, if you're upfront and say that, yeah, you might be slow, that might be okay. So, I just went on a rant and I lost my space. 1. Okay, that was 13. Let's go to 12. 12 is Earthquake Dragon. Let's talk about this one. 14 generic, 1 green for a 10/10 elemental dragon. This spell costs X less to cast, or X is the total mana value of dragons you control. Flying Trample. Pay 2, and green, sacrifice land, return dragon, Earthquake Dragon from your graveyard to your hand. So let's talk about that, okay? Earthquake Dragon is interesting. If you're running it in a dragon deck, which unless you're trying to deal massive damage by throwing a 15 at someone, yeah, that's where it should be. It does good. It's a 10/10 with flying and trample, so it will deal damage. And, like, it can come out for 1 green. How? Well, if you're playing it in, like, a Wooburg deck and you just cast him and you've got, like, 5 off and you have, like, 4 or 5 or 6 other dragons, right? Like, getting to 14 with dragons isn't hard. Like, there's a 5, there's a 5, there's a 5. Cool. 5/5/4 does it, too. Heck, 7/7 does it. So, not hard. Dragons are popular. That's why it's sitting here. Paying 1 green for a 10/10 with flying and trample is gross. That's why it's at 12. 12, 11. World Spine Worm. I love worms. Please give us more, guys. This is 8 generic, 3 green for a 15/15 worm with trample. And when it dies, create a 5/5 green worm creature token with trample. And if it would be put in your graveyard from anywhere, shuffle until its library. So it dies, it does get shuffled away. This does prevent you from being milled out. But it's cool because, like, paying 11 mana for a 15/15 with trample sounds awful because it could just die to removal. It has no protection. But if it does die to removal, not only will you eventually get it back, you also get 3 5/5s off of it, which is great with trample. So, yeah, I think this is fun. I think World Spine Worm is great. I think it's great in a big creature deck or any deck that cheats the creatures out. It just pushes you. Oh, that's a fantastic art. Look at that. Look at that layer. Yeah, it's a nice one. I like that. Yeah, so if you're running a big mana deck or a cheat creatures out from your hand deck, World Spider Worm is great. It's just, it says, oh, you want a board wipe? Sure, but you're going to get punished for board wiping, right? You're going to end up having to deal with 5/5s. So you kind of have to kind of remove World Spire and then board wipe. You know? That's kind of the idea you're getting with that. This is my cat. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Cat. Let's go to number 13. This is 13, 12, 11. Okay, top 10. Blood for the Blood God. Oh, sorry. It's an exclamation mark. So it should be Blood for the Blood God. 8 and 2 black for a red and a red for an instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. So, as long as 8 creatures died, you can cast this for 2 and 2 black and a red. Discard your hand, then draw 8 cards. Blood for the Blood God. Deals 8 damage to each opponent. Exile Blood for the Blood God. This is a counter to board wipes. Someone board wipes you, or board wipes, and then 1 for each creature that died this turn. Doesn't matter about yours. So someone board wipes, and you can just go, cool, I'm going to cast Blood for the Blood God. I'm going to draw 8 cards. I'm going to ditch my hand of like 2 cards. Draw 8, and then I'm going to deal 8 damage to each opponent. And then Blood for the Blood God's gone. Why is this there? Because it's an easy card to run. It's a very simplistic feeling card. I'm not going to lie. It's like, if you're like, oh, I need something to do. I need some way to bounce back as someone board wipes. Here we go. Boom. And even if not a board wipe, maybe you're running an aristocrat deck. Sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. Okay, cool. There's 8 sacrifices. Boom. Here you go. Or sack 8 tokens, cast this card. There's a lot of ways you can just like make a lot of things die. And those aristocrat decks, when you're running those equalizers, like whenever you lose a creature, each opponent sacrifices. Whenever a creature dies on your side, each opponent sacrifices a creature. You just go sack. That's 4 sack. That's 4 cast. So pretty simple to be able to get this off in specific decks that are popular, especially token decks, right? Oh no, you board wiped because I had 20 tokens. Let's cast this. Right? Very useful. Even if you board wipe and then you cast this card for 3, that's not bad. 7 mana for a board wipe that discards your hand and draws you 8 and deals 8 damage to each opponent. Not bad. So, I think it's a good 10. I like this card. I think more people should play it. Honestly, like a 10 is not high enough for me. I think it's fun. So, that's 10. Let's go to number 9. Number 9, Rise of the Eldrazi. This card has definitely been rising in the ranks. Shoot me. 9 generic and 3 colorless for a sorcery. This spell can't be countered. Right there, that gross. 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 It's only gross because of the following effect. Destroy target permanent. Target player draws for cards. Take an extra turn after this one. Exile Rise of the Eldrazi. Rise of the Eldrazi is meant to represent the original 3 Titans. One would destroy a permanent. Well, exile 2 permanents. I think it destroyed 2 permanents. One would draw you 4 cards, and the last one would take an extra turn. I think an opponent's turn, maybe, but like they wanted to make this more equalized, and also they really don't like you taking other people's turns anymore. They requires you to touch their cards, and there's too much going with that. So is Rise of the Eldrazi great? Yeah, it deserves its 9th spot. It's probably going to keep moving up. It's a fantastic card. No one's casting this card. Okay, I can't say no one. Most people are not casting this card for 12 mana. Most people are cheating this card out. They're casting it for free or way reduced. It can't be countered, so no one can stop it. And then you just pop something, you draw 4 cards, and you take an extra turn. If you lose the game after this card, you were really unlucky. It's great. It's fantastic. I like it. So let's move on to number 8, which is Pathriser of Ulamog. I have this cool DCI promo. It's cool. I like it. This is a great card. So Pathriser of Ulamog is 11 generic for a 9/9 Eldrazi with Annihilator 3, and it can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures, also known as Super Menace. So instead of 2 or more, it's 3 or more. So this is gross. This card attacks, you have to sack 3 things, and that's what it's doing. You're cheating this guy out most of the time, and he's just a big pain. You have to waste a removal spell on it. You know that. You can't let him sit around. Plus, he can be revived. So he's using a lot of decks. In Eldrazi decks, in copy decks, because making copies of this card isn't fun for your opponents. In Annihilator-based decks, where you make your opponent sacrifice stuff. People don't like Annihilator. Recursion decks, cheating creatures out decks, big mana decks, colorless deck. There's a lot of reason to run Pathriser of Ulamog. And if you got the DCI version, I love the art there too. Both are great. I love the purple effect of like the original of this one. This like less muted version that we get. This is a much more muted version back in the day. But this version was so creepy. Just like, yeah. I like it. I think it's such a creepy card. I love Eldrazi's. I think they're overdone in a lot of cases. Like, too many people go like, I love Eldrazi's. But I do. I love Cthulhu and all that H.P. Lovecraft stuff. And that's what Eldrazi's have always been. So, and anyone who gets mad that, like, of all these, like, what's it called? The extended multiverse of Magic the Gathering with, like, the Marvel and the Final Fantasies and the Doctor Who's. We've kind of done that. Magic's kind of done that this entire time. They just call it something different. Eldrazi's are just H.P. Lovecraftian horrors, you know? So, that was number, 10, 9, 8, I think this is 7 then. Metalwork Colossus is 11 generic for a 10/10 construct. That was notification. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total mana value of non-creature artifacts you control. Sacrifice 2 artifacts, return it from your graveyard to your hand. So this card does a lot. It is a fantastic free card for the most part. X is less cast, where X is the total mana value of non-creature artifacts you control. So, I mean, as long as your non-creature artifacts equivalent to 11, you get a 10/10 for free. If someone removes it, you can just sacrifice 2 artifacts, return it from your graveyard to your hand. Sometimes that sacrifice triggers stuff, which is pretty cool. But even if it doesn't, you need to 10/10 back, get it back. Cast it for free. Like, yeah, this is just a free 11/11, or a free 10/10 for the most part. Which is why it's up here at its position. Which, I was right, it was 7. So, I don't have a lot to say about it. It's, I mean, like, it's honest. It's just kind of your classic, simple idea. It's just, oh, I need a 10/10. Oh, this card can be cast for 0. Let's add this to the deck. Cool. Oh, I can cheat it out? Cool. So, Drevi decks like this. Get this card out easy. Even without Drevi, get it out easy. So, nice number 7. Let's go to number 6. Another Emrakul. Emrakul, the Promised Land, is 13 generic for a 13/13 Eldrazi. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each card type among cards in your graveyard, which with battles being a thing, I think it can be let's see. Instant, sorcery, creature, artifact, enchantment, land, planeswalker, battle. I think those are the 8 card types. So it can be reduced down by 8, bringing it down to 5 mana for a 13/13. When you cast a spell, you gain control of target opponent during that player's next turn. After that turn, that player takes an extra turn. Flying, trample, protection from instants. So, yeah. It's what it does. Both Emrakuls are here, or 2 out of 3 are here. And yeah, being able to cast this, even if you're not running battles, casting this card for like 4 or less, so it's just 9 is gross. 9 for a 13/13 that has flying, trample, protection from instances, so you have to sorcery kill it. And then, which everyone keeps telling everyone not to run sorcery spells, so then this card just gets harder to remove. There's a cool promo. And there's a cool card right there. Yeah. There's some cool cards. Like, that's a great art, too. Seeing it, like, fully. Like, this makes it look small, almost, but it's massive. Whereas that makes it look so massive. But this is so cool, too. But, that being said, yeah, this card's gross. And taking someone else's turn isn't nice. So, number 6. Let's get to the top 5. Number 5, Excalibur Sword of Eden. This is a brand new card. It's storming up the fields for just how great it is. And guess what? It is just that great. It is. It is. Anyone who wants to run this card, please do. So, 12 generic for a legendary artifact equipment. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total mana value of historical permanents you control. Historical permanents are artifacts, legends, and sagas. So, cool. Oh, your commander's a 5-drop? Well, this costs, like, only 7 now. Oh, you've got 3 2-drop artifact ramp spells? That's 6. And 5, that's 11. This costs 1. Okay. So now this costs 1. What does it do? Equip creature gets plus X, or plus 10, plus 0, and vigilance. Okay. Must equip a lot, right? Equip legendary creature 2. So you can only equip a legendary creature, which is a downside, but you're equipping it to your commander. And you give it plus 10, plus 0, and vigilance. If you're ramping with artifacts, Excalibur Sword of Eden's never bad. Like, even if your commander is just like a 3/3. A 2/1. Oh, I got a 2/1 commander that costs 2. Cool, put the sword in there. Why? Because it's good. Instead of a 2/1, now it's a 12/1 with vigilance. Go hit someone. I love Excalibur Sword of Eden. I like it. I think it's such a great card. I think it's super fun. I love Assassin's Creed games, and so I like the feel of this card. I think it really fits the world. So, that's number 5. Let's go to number 4. Oh, look, another Eldrazi. Who would have guessed? Let's look at the cool art. There's the originals. That's the new Commander Masters. But this one's really cool, because he's got a big mouth. It That Betrays is 12 generic for an 11/11 Eldrazi with Annihilator 2. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent, put that card onto the battlefield under your control. All will be harvested. Okay, here's the... It That Betrays is a great name. I love the lore. I love the feel. All will be harvested is such a classic statement. Or the original, your pleas for death shall go unheard. Right? Or even this one, and his world burned to ashes by the breath of gods. There are a lot of cool things about it that betrays, right? The thing about it is that it attacks, it's got Annihilator 2, and it steals things. All this says, don't play it lower than a 3. It's not nice. And you don't need your deck to revolve around it. It's just a good 12 drop. So, Eldrazi decks, copy decks, making more copies of this is gross. You don't get more copies of things, but it's just another Annihilator 2 and makes it harder to remove it. Big mana decks. Cheat this guy out from your graveyard decks. It doesn't have a cast trigger like some Eldrazi's do. This card is gross. It does its thing. It's a good card, but I think it's just too much. I think it's doing a little too much sometimes, so. But that's number 4. Let's get to number 3. Blightsteel Colossus. I hate this card. I think it's boring. 12 generic for an 11-11 golem with trample, infect, and indestructible. And if it would be put into your graveyard anywhere, reveal it, shuffle it into its own library instead. So you can't cheat it out for your graveyard, but you can cheat it out other ways. And yeah, like sneak attack a Blightsteel Colossus out early and just take someone out. It's kind of funny. I'm gonna sneak attack my Blights. Boom, you're dead. So, is this like a card to run in infect decks? Yeah, I guess. I think it's kind of funny there. Is it a good artifact deck? Yeah, I mean, you can one-shot someone and just take them out of the game. They don't have blockers. And even if they have blockers, they have to have more than one toughness altogether. So, it does a lot. It's very popular. It's a good card. It is Darksteel Colossus, just infected. Hence why it has infect and why it still looks like Darksteel Colossus. But the Praetors turned a lot of things. The Phyrexian Praetors turned the nice golem into a Phyrexian golem. It's one of the first things they did. It's terrifying. It's meant to be good. It is a good card. I just like people who play this just like, okay, cool, you took one person out. And I hate taking one person out. The biggest issue when you take one person out is that now they're sitting there not doing anything. And that can be boring, okay? You gotta time it right, I guess. And like, again, this goes back to that feeling of if everyone's playing fast, it's fine, right? If everyone's taking their turns in a timely manner, Blightsteel Colossus coming down and taking someone out, cool. Now the game should be faster. It's just 3 of us. Go, go, go. We want to go even a little faster so the other guy can come back in and we can play some more games. That's what's fun. We don't want it to be a stalemate. Stop stalemating games, guys. You're doing it on purpose because you don't want to be mean. Be mean. A little mean. And by mean, I mean play the game and try to win. I don't know. It's a fine card. It's just like certain circumstances have made me wary of it. So, 5, 4, 3. Okay, so this is number 2. Number 2 is Ulamog the Infinite Gyre. 11 generic for a 10/10 Eldrazi. When you cast a spell, destroy target permanent. Indestructible, Annihilator 4. If it would be put in your graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard and their library. So, Ulamog the Infinite Gyre is another card that goes infinite. Or does that whole hand loopy trick thing with what's his name? With the frog. And then the other point to him is that he's an Eldrazi, so that's why he's high up. As a commander, like, it's not bad. I mean, 11 mana, cast it, you pop a permanent. And it's got an Annihilator 4 and Indestructible, so it's hard to remove. I think it's fun as a commander. I think most of the Eldrazi's are fun as commanders, honestly. But what you get out of this, your kind of like feel in this with the 99 is that at least on cast you get to pop something. And it's indestructible, so it's harder to remove. And Annihilator 4 is so gross. Like each turn someone has to sacrifice 4 things. If you just go 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, you're going to slowly take over the game. So I think it's fun. Why is it at number 2? It's that shuffle thing. It's played in Gitrog decks. That's the guy way too often. And so that's where it is. It is just also one of the more popular Eldrazi's. Like, look at this art here. That's a great art. Such a creepy, fleshy art. This art's great too because it's like explosively fleshy. And it's also the original art. So I like Unalog. No, I like Ulamog the Infinite Gyre. He's fun. So let's get to number 1. If you didn't guess this, That's on you. Galta Primal Hunger. What do people like more than creepy Cthulhu creatures? Well, it's dinosaurs. Galta Primal Hunger is 10 generic, 2 green for a 12/12 Elder Dinosaur. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. Trample. Okay. The Earth walks strongest of all. There is a lot of cool art, but I think this guy got the... Yeah, this is the one my wife runs. The cereal box. She loves her little cereal box. So, Galta's used as one of the most... is probably the most popular mono green commander. It costs 2 green to just cast it usually. A 12/12 with trample just hits people. That's all it's doing. It's really hard hitting. It's kind of gross. It's simple. Doesn't take a lot of thought process to run it, and that's why it's here. It's here because a lot of people can just toss it in your deck. Oh, you're just running creatures? Cool. Toss this card in your deck. You're playing a lot of creatures and you're in green, cast this card in your deck. You're just gonna hit someone for 12 damage, or waste a removal spell because you only have to pay 2 for this guy. So. It does a lot. That's why it's number 1. It's very popular as a commander. It's ran in every dinosaur deck. It's ran in every green deck that just runs a lot of creatures. And it just does a lot for people to just hit. Hit really hard, okay? That's the idea with Galta, honestly. It's meant to just be a nuisance and be hard to get rid of. Well, not hard to get rid of, but like required to be rid of. Required to have gotten rid of because of what it's doing. So that's the concept. Let me know what you guys think down below in the doobly-doobly-doo. What's your favorite 12? Right? Personally, out of the bunch, or 12, 11 or higher, out of the bunch here, if I was going to choose one that I'm like, I really like this card, it's probably Excalibur. I'm a sucker for Voltron decks. I love Voltron decks. They're one of my favorites. I've always been a Saskia, the unyielding player. And Saskia can be built many ways. And Voltron's one of them because you can hit with her against the same opponent and still deal that extra damage. Now, mind you, it's non-combat damage, so you don't get commander damage out. But with something like Excalibur on it, that's still like 14 double to 28. It's a lot. And with like mana doublers or damage doublers, that brings it from like... because it doubles both options, so that brings it from like the normal 4, which doubles to 8, which then doubles to dealing 8, which then doubles to 16. So one doubler with Saskia brings you from 4 to... what is it? It's 4... or it's 8. And then 8 plus 16, which is 32. So it does 32 damage. With this, it just one-shots them, so... yeah. I like Excalibur. I think it's probably my favorite higher one. But you guys let me know what you think. I'm thinking about making these more podcast style in the future, like I did this one. They're all kind of podcast style in the first place, but I've been wanting to do more of a podcast and just having like a topic of what cards to talk about so I can kind of leap off the cards themselves and talk about where they belong, other decks, cool commanders. Let me know what you think. Again, down in the doobly-doobly-doobly-doo there. If you like the idea of this being more of a podcast, most of my videos are kind of like that. You don't really like to look at it. You can just kind of like listen. I hope I describe stuff well enough, so let me know what you guys think. Peace.